Hey YouTube, Brandon Ascari here with another awesome and insightful episode of Ascari Digital's Content Creator Academy, where, as you know, it is my goal to help educate and inspire you to being the best and most successful freelancer that I know you can be. Don't forget, give us a big thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when our episodes go live Mondays and Wednesdays. And other than that, leave a comment down below with any questions and let's dive in with some of the latest and greatest news in filmmaking. So, taking a look at my computer screen here, if you will, you'll see that Blackmagic has released the new Ursa Mini Pro 12K. 12K. That's a lot of Ks. Introducing the world's most advanced digital film cameras. Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K is a revolution in digital film with a 12,288 by 6,480 12K Super 35 sensor and 14 stops of dynamic range built into the award-winning Ursa Mini body. The combination of 80 megapixels per frame, new color science, as if the old color science was bad, it was freaking amazing, and flexibility of the Blackmagic RAW makes working with 12K a reality. Oversampling from 12K gives you the best 8K and 4K images with the subtle skin tones and extraordinary detail of high-end still cameras. You can shoot at 60 FPS in 12K. What? Some cameras don't even want to give you 60 FPS in 4K. What are you talking about? 110 FPS in 8K and up to 220 frames per second in 4K Super 16. Okay, so to do really high frame rates, it looks like you're going to crop into like a Micro Four Thirds-ish Super 16 sensor. So the Ursa Mini Pro 12K features an interchangeable PL mount, as well as built-in ND filters, dual CFast, and UHS 2 SD card recorders. What are you recording to a regular SD card on this camera? It's what? A super speed USB-C expansion port and more. DaVinci Resolve Studio is included, of course, for creative control through post, from editing to color, VFX, and more. So the wonderful highlights of this: 80 megapixels, 12K, Super 35, 60 FPS in 12K RAW, 110 FPS in 8K. Holy crap, how much is this? Make you scroll all the way to the bottom just to find out the price. $9,995. That's it? Wow. Compare this to a Red camera. They range anywhere from about that all the way up to about $45,000, $50,000. Your Arri cameras are going to be right around $45,000 and up. And you're getting all of this, which spec-wise, not necessarily quality, but spec-wise, blows these out of the water. I mean, completely blows these out of the water. I don't think this is going to affect Arri much, because Arri doesn't focus a lot on super ultra high resolution sensors and, you know, frame size and all that stuff. They care more about what each of those pixels are and the quality that they're providing. So I think this is really going to be the biggest kick in the pants for Red, because Red's the one that's always like, oh, we got the 8K Monstro Dragon Gemini sensor in our camera and it's going to cost you $45,000. And then Blackmagic is like, wait, hold up, $10,000, 12K. For 10K, minus $5. And it gives you wireless Bluetooth camera control. Usual Ursa body. You know, I came from having an Ursa Mini 4K, so I'm used to the SDI outputs, the XLR inputs, the built-in ND. I'm already familiar with all that stuff, so I knew that a camera like this would have it. It's just that resolution, and I'm not a resolution guy. I agree with Arri. It's not that important. It's more about what you use in your resolution that counts. But the way that the industry is going, it's a marketing pitch. They want you to be able to shoot in higher resolutions, to stream in higher resolutions, so that way they have something new to sell you. Well, Blackmagic says, don't worry about it. We're going to sell it to you, but it's not going to cost you that much money. Okay, you know, it does have its value in that you can crop in, if you're, let's say right now we're releasing in 4K or something for YouTube, which is pretty standard, or Netflix, then you could shoot in 12K and you could go from a wide shot into a close-up. No questions asked. Single cam. Done. Like, that's crazy. So let's take a look at the other article, because there's really nothing else to say other than this is an amazing price for an amazing camera, and I don't know who's going to buy it. People who are looking to get into like a red level cinema camera, buy this instead of the red. I'd do that any day of the week. Other than that, maybe rent it for some of your shoots, but I don't see a reason when you could get the Pocket 6K for a fifth of the price, have 6K RAW, which is more than enough. It's what I'm shooting this episode on right now. So I just don't see a need for it right now, to be honest with you. How each major film festival is responding to the coronavirus. I'm curious myself. I was supposed to be hosting my own film festival, but thank you, coronavirus, for making that not happen. It's hard to think of an event less suited to the age of the coronavirus than a film festival. Thousands of strangers from all over the globe coming together to sit in packed screening rooms for a few hours and, if they're lucky, mingle at an after party where they'll have a chance to share hors d'oeuvres with an Oscar winner. As the film industry spends its 5th month in lockdown, the red stairs, elegant gowns, and swanky parties are no more. In a post-apocalyptic touch, the Boulevard de la Croisette is being patrolled not by paparazzi, but by a feral boar. This is depressing. Hope springs eternal that festivals will occur again at some point. As Parasite's Best Picture winning campaign proved, nothing creates buzz for a movie like a successful fest premiere. And for Oscar watchers, the late summer festivals separate the season's wheat from the chaff, the Roma from the life itself. There are supply-side incentives preventing this year's slate from being canceled outright, too. Many festivals provide the revenue that funds their parent operations the rest of the year. Finally, many in the industry have clung to the return of festivals as a symbolic step on the road to normal, a sign that movies are finally back. But are they, though? There are numerous hurdles to getting there besides the obvious question of safety. As Noah Cohen notes on IndieWire, the physical presence of celebrities is often the secret ingredient behind many festivals staying in the black. Would an appearance over Zoom hold the same catch? Not really. For festivals that have built their brand on glamorous exclusivity, simply providing screening links for people to watch at home may be an uncomfortable experience in demystification. And while the FOMO a film festival brings out... And while the FOMO a film festival brings out in those who aren't there is a key part of their appeal, that vibe may hit differently in the age of quarantine. Amid a global pandemic, could anyone post from Venice without feeling like an asshole? So how are each of the major festivals planning for life in the corona era? As anyone trying to organize one will tell you, nothing is concrete and the facts change every day. But here is a provisional look at where things stand at the end of July. I'm very interested to see this myself, actually. Cannes Film Festival. With its mid-May feat imperiled by the coronavirus, Cannes initially hoped that a simple delay would suffice. First to late June, then after the French government extended its lockdown into July indefinitely. But on the eve of what had been its scheduled opening, the festival bowed to circumstances, confirming to Variety that there would be no physical edition of Cannes this year. A festival is a collective party, a spectacle that brings together an audience in a given location. In this case, on the Croisette, in the presence of thousands of people, everyone understands that that's impossible this year. Cannes director Thierry Froment, a French person, told Screen Daily a few days earlier, while other spring festivals like Tribeca and South by Southwest compromised by going virtual, Cannes considered such an option antithetical to the spirit of the event. Cannes could only have taken place as it normally does, with the stars, the public, the press, and the professionals. The festival should always show its best face. I truly have to agree with you. I do understand going virtual, but at the same time, I do personally believe that for a festival, this is what it is. It's a gathering of people to come together and experience art, and that's really the only way to do it. Let's skip ahead. Venice International Film Festival. With Italy having been hit hard by the pandemic, the question of how to go ahead with the world's oldest film festival has been particularly fraught. Unlike Cannes, Venice projected confidence early. In late April, the Venice Biennial, which organizes the festival, told Italian media that they were proceeding with the traditional early September date as planned, with the expectation that the event would be scaled down and take place in 6 or 7 circumscribed movie theaters. In late June, Variety reported more details on what a post-COVID-19 Venice will look like. Films will screen in multiple theaters simultaneously, necessitating a smaller lineup. There will also be outdoor screenings. That's not a bad idea. Red carpets will still happen, albeit with socially distanced photographers. Though Italy's reopening guidelines mandate no more than 200 people in a theater at once, the festival will receive a special dispensation for its largest screening rooms. With Italy still banning entrance to visitors from outside the EU, U.S. attendance is expected to be limited. However, in April, biennial President Roberto Ceccuto floated the possibility of an online option for international press. Okay, so you have it open to natives and then do a streaming option for people that are international. I could go along with that. It's actually not a bad idea. Let's move on. Telluride Film Festival. Okay. Telluride is a more intimate festival than the others. Instead of a major city, it takes place in a small resort town in Colorado over Labor Day weekend. Ultimately, that made it too much of a risk. 2 months after promising a socially distanced version of the festival, organizers reversed course, announcing in July that the 2020 edition would be scrapped entirely. That's terrible. Toronto. TIFF has a reputation for being the most accessible of the major festivals, and accordingly, it's going experimental with its changes. In late June, organizers announced that besides physical screenings, this year's festival would be tailored to fit the moment, with an assortment of shifts including drive-in and digital screenings, plus virtual red carpets, press conferences, and panel discussions. Like Venice, TIFF is also presenting a smaller lineup this time around. Though the festival typically programs over 200 films, this year that's down to 50 new features. Those premieres will occur in socially distanced physical screenings that take place over the festival's first 5 days. The official selection includes Cannes 2020 titles like the lesbian fossil romance Ammonite, the Mads Mikkelsen drinking comedy Another Round, and the Japanese family drama True Mothers, as well as Halle Berry's directorial debut Bruised. The opening night film will be Spike Lee's concert doc of David Byrne's American Utopia. So that's interesting. So TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, is trying a hybridized approach, which I think is a really good thing to do, and doing virtual red carpets and digital screenings. The drive-in really is exciting. I think that's interesting because everybody loves drive-in movies. I'm not really concerned with New York Film Festival. Sundance. All right, let's see what Sundance is doing. Finally, we come full circle with the Sundance Film Festival, whose 2020 edition was the final festival to proceed more or less as normal. Really? In a memo sent to the festival's mailing list, new director Tabitha Jackson announced she was actively planning a series of possible changes for Sundance 2021 in the event that no coronavirus vaccine is yet available. Most notable would be the expansion of the festival outside the traditional confines of Park City, with selections playing in 20 independent and community theaters across North America. For those unwilling or unable to make it to a theater, Sundance will also create an online hub for screenings and live events. Organizers are also mulling a different start date for the 2021 festival, currently scheduled to kick off January 28th, in order to create more distance from the presidential inauguration on January 20th. So very interesting stuff. This gives us an insight as to what certain festivals are doing. Me personally, I agree very strongly with Khan that festivals are something for film to be experienced together, as it is an intimate setting. You go to a theater together with a bunch of people and you experience and you take in this art together, and that is an experience, that spreads over a lifetime. You get to possibly meet the celebrities, you get to hang out, it's like a beautiful dinner. That's something that I think is necessary for film. But with that said, we also have to be sensitive to what's going on in the world. So for me, I decided for my festival that I'm going to reach out to the people who I've accepted to screen in my festival and just say, hey, look, these are the things that we're thinking about. Either A, we will wait until things clear up and we're able to have the event 120% as is, or B, we can do a virtual event and I'm going to try to get like live performances from musicians, artists, comedians, stuff like that, to make it kind of like the Oscars, what they do, where they have performances in between the award ceremony, but also with film screenings and then have the award ceremony at the end. So I'm thinking about things like that for what I will do with my festival, but importantly, I want to make sure that the people who are a part of the festival have a say in the festival, because it's not about my festival. This is a shared experience and I want everyone to have a say in it. And that's how I see it. Anyway, if you have any questions about the news that we covered, feel free to leave a comment down below. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, give us a big thumbs up if you haven't already. And in the meantime, I will see you